This black box dye color correction nightmare to platinum silver bob is a story time that needs to be had over 2 appointments, so buckle up and let's get into it. But first, I want to thank everybody for subscribing here to my YouTube channel, for liking, following, commenting, doing all the things. I just hit 100,000 subscribers. Got my award, and it means so much to me. So thanks to all of you for your support. Please let me know what you want to see on here. I can't wait to share more with you. Now, this is Jen's hair. She had went to a hairstylist and tried to remove years of black box dye. I'm going to pop it into the screen here. And there's so many spots and bands. They did a pretty good job on top, but the underneath was basically a hair color disaster, and we had a lot of work to do. Luckily, she was open to a new cut, and she said she wanted a bob. She wanted a platinum bob. So Philip, Wolff, and Vinny got in there and got to work. They cut, and then they cut some more, and then they cut some more still. Jen saw her hair. We showed it to her just so she could get into her new look. She's had long hair for about 10 years. So not only was this a major color change after being black box dye for 10 years, this was going to be a new cut for her as well. She had some feelings about it, but then she was ready for it. So Philip Wolff came in and got to work. If you notice, he really wanted to have a great baseline, and what I noticed right away was her tattoo lady, and I love it so much. So she was excited that people are going to get to see her tattoo again. She hadn't had short hair for a really, really long time. I think it was about 10, maybe even 15 years. So she was really wanting a change, and I think those conversations need to be had with our clients before doing major, not only color changes, but haircut changes for sure. So we had a lot of conversations with her about it, and she was really ready to go into this bob. So if you notice, he did his baseline there, and then he pulled down from the crown down to the nape. And I always love watching this hair come off. Isn't it satisfying? Like, it's so satisfying to watch a great haircut. Now, for me, for the color, I was kind of hoping that we were going to be able to cut out some of this box dye, which we were, obviously. We cut off about 8 inches. But I was hoping that a lot of the bands and spots were going to leave. But when you notice there, when I was going through her hair at the base, that wasn't going to happen. So I got to work. Now, I wanted to go slow and low. I usually will never go above 20 volume on a color correction unless absolutely necessary. I use Oligo Pro. They have a lot of different lighteners. I did their Cool Blonde. It has blue base in it, so it helps cool down and tone warmth. And obviously, when she wants to go into a platinum or a silver, that's going to be really important. I love these Framar K18 collab foils. Aren't they cute? I actually found them in a PR box, and I'm like, I got to pull these out. Where have these been all my life? Once I got her to a nice level 9, I came in and I put my lightener at the base. The reason I do that is obviously the scalp is a heat conductor, so I don't need to do, right up to the scalp, and it's also going to help her scalp from, feeling any sort of irritation. But what I do love about Oligo, it has the power to lift that you see there. Look at that beautiful clean left through that box dye, but it usually does not irritate the scalp. But I still suggest always doing a patch test, and especially on a new client, just making sure that they don't have any sensitivity. But you can see there, I was really happy with the even lift. And what I'll normally do on color corrections, it can be deceiving. So I came through each foil, and as I pulled the foil, I reapplied my lightener to each section, really working it in on my brush. Now, this was after toning of our first session. I was pretty impressed with the silver. Now, people get very controversial, so hear me out. To me, I see silver, but a lot of you said, no, it's blonde, it's cool butter blonde, whatever you call it. Jen was thrilled and happy. So I told her it was really important that I see her 6 weeks later. And this is 6 weeks later. Now, we used K18 throughout this whole process, and not one hair was in the brush. There was 0 breakage, and Jen's hair felt amazing. Now, you can see her regrowth there. Philip started off with the K18 Molecular Repair Hair Mist. You let it sit for 4 minutes. That was after washing with their detox shampoo. And then it was time for me to get to work. Now, this time I did 20 volume again in the front with Oligo Pro's Extra Cool Blonde. They've got an Extra Blonde, and then they've got their Cool Blonde. I like using the Cool Blonde. Right now, it's 8 levels of lift, where their Extra Blonde is 9 levels. I start in the front. Also maybe controversial to some of you, but I feel that my clients want to be lighter and brighter around the face always. So I have started, instead of starting in the back, I'll section in 4s that you see there. I'll come in and I'll kind of carve out my sections with my lightener. It just kind of helps me keep everything even and meticulous. When doing these sorts of blonding services, being meticulous, taking really thin sections, those are going to make and break you even for a bleach retouch, because you don't want to have any breakage. You don't want to have any banding. And I was really proud of Jen that she called me right at 5 weeks to make our appointment for 6 weeks, because color corrections take time. So even though we were happy with the first session, I can't say it was perfect. You saw all the spots and the bands, and if you're a hair colorist, you know. Sometimes you're going to get it, and I was really happy where we got it, but I knew in the second session, even the third, it's just going to keep getting better and better. Now, when we first saw Jen, some tea for you all, she said that she might want to go back to jet black and extensions. She had a moment, and I got to be honest with you, we spent 12 hours in the first session, so that threw me a little bit. But luckily, after talking to her, she said she was just having a moment. She loved the blonde, and she wanted to stick with it. So, we got through that one, and it was time to get into this bleach retouch. Now, you can see there, I'm taking really thin, meticulous sections, taking my lightener. Now, what I'll do in the back, a little trick, remember I'm using 20 volume. So you see me there in that second quadrant, going through and applying my lightener. Now, with something like this, normally I'll leave about 1/4 of an inch out at the base and 1/4 of an inch out at the line of demarcation. But with this transformation, because she came right in at 6 weeks, it's really not going to make a difference with the heat of the scalp, and I'll tell you more on that in just a minute. But what I love about Oligo, it doesn't expand. So if you notice, it's staying where I put it. Look, love all brands, but some lighteners can be so aggressive that they actually expand and like almost blow up, and you can see it on the scalp where it starts to expand into the hair, and that can cause a lot of damage and a lot of breakage, even with all the K18s and the things. So with me using K18, the mist, and of course we're going to use the mask throughout this process, and using their detox shampoo, which takes out all the metals and minerals, which gave us a really nice, clean, even lift, it's going to be really important for me that this bleach doesn't expand, and it actually gives me the freedom to really lighten her hair and not worry about, the bleach going over on that line of demarcation and possibly causing excess breakage and damage to the hair. So you can see there, now I'm going into my back 2 quadrants. Now what I do to help it catch up with the front is I actually added 2 caps of 30 volume into my lightener. First, it's going to actually give it a little boost, because lightener, when it sits out, I also will usually mix a new batch of lightener when I get to the second half of the hair so it's fresh. And you can see her hair lifted beautifully. Once it came up to a level 9, I actually went through her entire head with my lightener and reapplied. And then she still had, if you notice, a little bit of yellow there. So I actually did a bleach wash, and I was so into my appointment, I didn't video it for you guys, but I did do a bleach wash with about 5 volume and some shampoo for about 5 minutes at the back basin. It was time to tone. Now, she wanted a silver. Again, I used Oligo. I'm obsessed with their Color a Gloss. It's pretty much like the best parts of an alkaline meet and acidic. I did 7 volume and I did 10 AI. Now, with some brands, I would never use a 10 on this lift, even though I love the clean lift that we got. We got it really light. But Oligo really does what it says it's going to do. With some brands, I would use a 9. If you haven't tried Oligo's Color yet, try it. Their toners are powerful. So I did 10 AI, that's ash and iridescent. So it's going to be a beautiful pearl. It's going to be a really great platinum silver. And you can see here, these are the results of Jen's second session. What do you guys think of this platinum blonde bob? It's looking so healthy. There was no hair in the brush, and Jen was obsessed. Let me know what you think in the comments. I hope that you're loving my new videos and long form content. This is her with no product, just to show you what it looked like. She was so happy. Thank you again for subscribing to my channel. I can't wait to create more content with you and shorts every single day right here on YouTube. Thank you again for watching. And as always, I hope that you have a great week in the salon. To all the clients and hairdressers out there, thank you for watching.